So Wolverine is by far one of the most recognizable characters, I would say, within the Marvel Comics and the soon-to-be Marvel Cinematic Universe by, of course, Kevin Feige and Bob Iger. There's been a lot of drama happening, though, with that actual character and the usage of Wolverine in the upcoming Deadpool 3 film, in X-Men 97 Season 2 that's currently in the active development phase, and a lot of other aspects related to the return of Wolverine via Hugh Jackman and the drama basically surrounding this character behind the scenes when it comes down to Deadpool 3. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So, the Fox movies, of course, when you look back at those X-Men films, I think that the main selling point of those movies were, yes, Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm, the main characters that you all grew up with, and how now everything related to the ongoing drama surrounding writers, of course, Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick, and Ryan Reynolds with the help on them, as well as director Shawn Levy, really battling up against Disney and the heads over there, including Bob Iger, and along with Kevin Feige over at Marvel Studios. Now, what's interesting about this moving further, alright, there's a lot of drama surrounding the overall situation with the gender-swapped version of Wolverine that has a lot to do with the multiverse, not to be confused with X-23 or Lady Deathstrike. This is all an elaborate plan by Bob Iger and Kevin Feige that went south, that went sour, all because, of course, finally, Ryan and team stood up against them and really stood their ground and called the shots. But let's get into exactly what's going on with Hugh Jackman. Now, with Bob Iger endlessly lying to both shareholders and customers around the globe, one major development has to do with Hugh Jackman going into a head-to-head battle with Disney over gender-swapped Wolverine plans by Bob Iger and Kevin Feige, after all the Deadpool 3 drama that's been going on. In one crucial update to this ongoing situation, a recent standstill was made during production of Deadpool 3 ahead of the reshoots planned for the third film by Disney. A shocking turn of events that occurred behind the scenes involved how Jackman gave Disney an ultimatum, along with Ryan Reynolds and Shawn Levy, over the gender-swapped version of Wolverine. This ultimatum that Jackman gave to Disney and Marvel Studios involved stepping down from getting involved in Avengers Secret Wars with the return of Wolverine, knowing that Wolverine is a major selling point for the film behind the scenes. Now, with the gender-swapped version of Wolverine, not to be confused, like I said before, with X-23 or Lady Deathstrike, both Iger and Kevin Feige were pushing a literal gender-swapped version of the character from a different universe. And this, of course, created outrage from Hugh Jackman, surprisingly, where he also shed light on the issue of Bob Iger's push for also inserting a gender-swapped Wolverine into X-Men 97 Season 2, which is reportedly still a go and still actively happening while that's in the works. And though with the help of not just Ryan Reynolds, but also Hugh Jackman, that led to Disney caving into their demands, and ending up, of course, canceling the gender-swapped version of Wolverine, at least for Deadpool 3, both Iger and Kevin are still planning to use those plans for this character for Deadpool 3 to be used in X-Men 97. So for a little context, guys, before I move on, they wanted to introduce this swapped version of the character in the third film to kind of set things up for what they are about to establish in X-Men 97 Season 2, introducing more aspects of the multiverse and hence animating that character from the live-action form. Now, the uproar that Hugh Jackman started with Disney was also due to the fact of how Bob Iger was about to cut down Jackman's screen time for the third act of the film and to have his Wolverine character get defeated in a fight against the female version of Wolverine from another universe. In addition to this, Jackman also joined the battle alongside Ryan Reynolds and Shawn Levy that led to the cancellation of female Wolverine after he also refused to take part in any further reshoots if they were to pursue those plans. Now, Jackman was also fighting for his scenes with Lady Deathstrike to be reinstated. It turns out there were plans for a rematch where Ryan Reynolds wanted to recreate the battle from the original X-Men trilogy that was quickly, of course, cancelled and currently still is to this day by Bob Iger and Kevin Feige. And also, what led to tensions rising between Jackman and the Disney heads. And though gender-swapped Wolverine is no longer happening now for reshoots of Deadpool 3, Bob Iger is still pushing that version of the character for X-Men 97 Season 2. With Season 1 still slated to release on March 20th, Jackman is also furious about Iger's push to devalue the character's legacy and what Wolverine really stands for within the Marvel Universe. Those like Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, it turns out, never wanted to use the aspects of the multiverse in Deadpool 3, but writers Paul and Rhett were forced to do this in the script via Kevin Feige and Bob Iger's demands, to justify the endless cameos and the possibilities that Disney could explore that they are about to deliver in the film. Now guys, let me say one thing about that. I think this is exactly why fans are fed up with the multiverse. It's not coming from a genuine place. It's coming from a place where Disney can basically just do whatever they want, throw in any character from any movie, and decide their fate for no apparent reason. Alright, we all saw what they did with Fantastic Four, with Charles Xavier in the Multiverse of Madness, just for the sake of doing that. And a lot of people weren't really too fond of that. You know, they thought it was very lazy in certain areas. So they're gonna do something like this, not just in Deadpool 3, but of course in Secret Wars and many other upcoming Marvel movies that are going to basically continue their usage of the multiverse. So guys, the multiverse era is not over. They want to keep spewing this until at least 2027, and there's already talks of a Secret Wars Part 2 to kind of separate those two films, basically. Kind of like what they did with Endgame and Infinity War, and they want to kind of treat that with Secret Wars. That's the one light plan right now going on by Kevin Feige. Moving on. Now, many of those, of course, cameos were cancelled either for better or worse. Jackman is still putting his foot down to step down from Secret Wars unless they respect the Wolverine character, even for X-Men 97 Season 2, and to stop with the gender-swapping concepts. So look, I mean, you got a lot of actors beginning to stand up against Disney, something that Bob Iger surely does not want to deal with. You got people like Ryan Reynolds, you got Gina Carano, now you have Hugh Jackman, and we're also getting it from other actors associated with other studios. I mean, look what Henry Cavill did for the fans, for the fandom, for different communities. And I think at the end of the day, you're going to see more and more actors beginning to wake up and stand up and really taking on the studios. And we can see a fine example here of how if there's a strong enough, you know, outrage from the actor's point of view against the studios begin to cave. Already, Ryan Reynolds and team has had a total of 5 victories with preventing DEI nonsense getting spilled into the third act of Deadpool 3, but the battle is still going on, it's still happening to this day, and there are still reshoots planned for April leading into May of this year for Deadpool 3 to kind of throw in more of their agenda. This is what they're actively trying to stop as well. And when I say they, I'm talking about Sean, Ryan, Rhett, Paul, Hugh, the list goes on and on. So overall, guys, you know, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.